Hello, and welcome to my live Facebook class today. Here we are in the middle of July is where we are today, and going to be doing a 40 to 45 minute class today. My name is Kimberly Willison. I'm the Senior Recreation Therapist with the Forever in Motion program. So today we're going to be using a band only. I always have a chair nearby. If you haven't come to our classes before, we always have a chair that's nearby, either to be able to sit down on, to stand up and have that chair for support by putting the fingers on, or it's just around just in case you ever need it for support. So you have lots of options there to choose from. And then you'll also notice that I have a water bottle there as well. So lots of different options that we're going to be able to do today. So for example, if you'd like at any time, feel free to sit and do the class in seated position just like this. Feel free to stand behind the chair, like I've mentioned, using that chair for support. Or if you don't feel like you need that chair for support, then don't feel like you have to use it. So let's start by getting warmed up. Let's start with a 1, 2, 3 tap. So 1, 2, 3 tap, 1, 2, 3 tap. Just starting to warm up the body, starting to bring that heart rate up. Now, if you're feeling comfortable with that, again, you can be doing that in seated position if you'd like, or if you'd like, start to move around with that just a little bit. So I might come forward and tap and back and tap. 1, 2, 3, tap, back, 2, 3, tap. And if you feel more comfortable just staying in the spot, that's just fine too. Stay in the spot. And Ted is around today, but he seems to be just walking around, not sure where he wants to go yet. So if you hear little sounds of pause, little pause on the floor, that's Ted moving around the room. Maybe we'll see him a little bit later today. Okay, let's do 2 more. And last one, back to in the spot. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. Now we move that forward and back. Now if you'd like, we can move that a little bit side to side. So 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. Once again, feel free to stay in the spot if that feels more comfortable for you today. And then seated, you would just move your feet just slightly to the side. 1, 2, 3, tap. So more or less staying in the spot, maybe just a little turn of the hips for this one. We always like to encourage just a little bit of impact. So if you're able to, could we stomp the feet a little bit more? Might be a little bit louder here as I'm stomping. But maybe you could stomp a little bit, whether that's seated or standing, just to get a little bit of bone density building in there as well. Okay, and 2 more. And last time, and march it out. Okay, let's go into a V step. So let's go forward, forward, back, back. Forward, forward, back, back. Again, feel free to do this in seated. It'll look exactly the same. You can adjust the intensity by going a little bit slower with our cardio moves, or you could speed it up, increasing the intensity by just going a little bit faster. And as we tell you or remind you every week is to listen to your body, to work at your own pace. If something doesn't quite feel right for you today, then stop, slow down, or change the exercise entirely. You'll notice with this one here that one leg is leading or one side is the dominant side. So in this case, it's my left leg. So we'll do a few more and then I'll get you to switch sides. Last 4, 3, 2, and last one, tap down, switch sides. Other direction here now. You might find that you would have started with your dominant side, so this maybe is your non-dominant side. Maybe doesn't feel quite as comfortable. I like to make you feel just a little bit uncomfortable. So sometimes doing things that just feel a little bit off or a little bit harder to do, just to strain your brain just a little bit. And 3 more, 2, and last one, march it out. Okay, let's do a tap to the side this time. So we're going to stay in the center. Now, normally our arms and our legs will be going in the same direction. Our brain likes when our arms and legs are going in the same direction. Sometimes I like to challenge our brain by having our arms and legs not going in the same direction. So if it's available to you today, then could I suggest that as your legs go one direction, your arms go the other direction? And as we're doing this, this is a good time just to think about our posture and our core engagement. Could we think about drawing our belly button to spine, tucking the tailbone under, having our chest lifted and chin tucked? Those are our ABCs of posture. And that helps us to engage the core. We're doing our exercises safely. We're using the core stability or the core to help us with our exercises a little bit. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Can we change those arms? So rather than those arms going to the side with those legs, instead we'll have those arms come front to back. So legs are going to stay coming to the side. Arms are going to come forward. Always just a little bit of brain work here. I know at any time, again, maybe at this point you're feeling like you've had enough. You could sit down. You could hang on to the back of the chair if you'd prefer. You could drop those arms. But if you're up for a bit of a challenge, then swing the arms in opposite direction to the legs. Just a few more for me here. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Great job. Okay, march it out. Let's do a little bit of a tap back with that this time. I find when I tap back, I like to have my arms kind of go in the other direction, so to go forward as my legs go back. Working a little bit of the back side of the body to warm up. Once again, I'm going to bring that belly button to spine. That core is engaged as I'm doing this. And you can stay with those arms going forward. Again, it looks exactly the same in seated position. We're just tapping back under the chair instead. Now, as a little bit of a challenge, you can keep going back with the legs, but could we have the arms go out to the side? So kind of like jumping jack arms with cross-country ski legs. Again, just a little bit harder on the brain. And I think I'm going to speed up my arms here in a moment. Here we go. So if you'd like, single time with the arms or half time. Oh, it feels good to get the blood flowing. We know that our brain loves that fresh oxygenated blood. And when we challenge ourselves by doing things that are hard on our brain, like arms and legs going opposite direction, we just get so many benefits, creating more neural pathways in the brain, that fresh oxygen flow, so many benefits to physical activity. Let's count that down again. Let's wrap up our cardio section. Last 4, 3, 2, and last one. March it out. Let's roll the shoulders out just a little bit, reset. So take a deep breath in, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, drop them back and down. Let's do that a few more times. And last time, nice deep breath in, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, drop them back and down. And last time. Oh, that feels so good. Just kind of a little posture reset there as we drop those shoulders back and down. Palms will be facing forward just a little bit. And maybe just a little bit of a chin tuck there so we're standing nice and tall. Okay, let's bring that heart rate back down. So we can go into a nice low march. I like to warm up the ankles a little bit in my cool down section to bring that heart rate down. So let's come up to our tippy toes. Again, you have that chair for support there if you feel like you need it. Let's alternate, lifting up the heels as high as you can. Just working on that mobility of the ankles. Maybe considering taking a few nice deep breaths, filling the lungs with that nice fresh oxygen. Okay, and last time. Great job. Give that a little shake. Okay, let's have a quick drink of water there. So we always want to start with a little bit of a warm-up, getting the blood flowing. Okay, now that our heart rate's down, we can get into our strength-based portion here. So let's grab our band. As I said, we'll make this about a 40-45 minutes. It's nice to be able to have a kind of a little bit quicker workout to be able to access sometimes. So let's take our band, let's stand on our band, feet about hip width or shoulder width apart. We're going to hinge forward at the hips. I'll turn in a moment. I have knots on my band. I like to be able to grab onto those, but you can also just grab down a little bit lower on your band so you have a little bit of tension on your band. And let's draw our belly button to spine again, shoulders back and down. So we have nice neutral spine, head, neck, and spine all in line. We're going to bring our hands to our hips and our hands back down. We can also do this in seated. So just let me get a couple more in here for you to see, and then I'll show you your seated option. We'll exhale as we bring our hands up. Inhale as we bring our hands down. Targeting the hips on either side, and then just the thighs just above the knees when we come down. And then in seated, if you prefer to do this seated, you can sit with your feet extended out. We do this one quite often. It's just our standard seated row. So you can choose to do this in seated position, or you could choose to do this in standing. You always have options depending on how you're feeling today. If you're doing this in seated, you're sitting up nice and tall, just like we are in standing. Your back is away from the back of the chair. Your elbows are coming nice and close to the body. So whichever option you're choosing, I'm going to do about 3 more of these. Know you can stop now if you feel like you've reached muscle fatigue, the point where you feel like you can't quite do one more. Or come join me for 1 more. And if you're not at that muscle fatigue yet, you can always do a few more extra afterwards if you'd like, if that wasn't quite to your muscle fatigue. Okay, give that a little bit of a roll of the shoulders here, stretch it out. Maybe open up through the chest and through the back. Just give that a little bit of a shake. Okay, let's move on to chest here now. So let's use our chair here. And no, you don't have to use your chair. You can do this without as well. But yes, I'm going to try using our chair for this one. We're going to take our band behind the back of the chair. So the band is against the back of the chair. It's just going to make it a little bit harder because rather than digging into my back, I've got a hard chair that it won't be able to kind of lean in. It just increases the intensity. So know that you can always just have it behind the back. It's just fine. We're going to extend our arms out in front. I'm going to start sitting back, but we're going to gradually work our way to sitting forward. I'm going to bring my arms together in front here and release. Now, if I want to work just a little bit harder here, I can just shift my hips away from the back of the chair. So right away, just by even sitting forward a little bit, I can feel my core start to turn on. work just a little bit harder to stabilize and hold me forward. We're again making sure we're breathing at the same time, exhaling as we're bringing the hands forward, inhale as we're coming back. Aiming for around 12 repetitions, but know that you can stop if you're at 8 and you feel like that's enough. You could do a few extra if you feel like once you reach 12, it's not quite hard enough. I think I've got 3 more. 2. And last one. Okay, and let's release that. Give those shoulders just a little bit of a shake there. Now, while we're in seated with the band behind the chair, I'm just going to add one more in seated. I'm going to be wild and crazy and add a core one here in between. Oftentimes we leave our core to the very end, but this is kind of a great place just to add one in. And really, you can add core anytime throughout the class. Hopefully, we're working our core all throughout. But I'm going to keep the bands close to me, and I'm going to sit away from the back of the chair, just having a little bit of an external force or external resistance to sit forward. Now, right now, my bum or my back is against the back of the chair. I can work it a little harder by scooching my bum forward a little bit. So now my back is not touching the back of the chair. And that'll make it just a little bit harder to stabilize. And I don't get a break. I'm not leaning back against the chair. So no break for that. So it's going to be working my core the whole entire time as I lean forward. I hope you can see from this angle that I really am maintaining that nice neutral spine the whole entire way. What we want to avoid is rounding of the spine. Don't want any rounding. We're sitting up nice and tall, hinging forward at the hips, and as much as possible, keeping my cervical, my thoracic, and lumbar vertebrae all in line. So I look forward and down as I lean forward. And 2 more. And last one. Okay, great job. Let's release that. Let's bring the band around to the front. Now let's do a high row. So this will work more of our upper back. So we're going to stay in seated. We have that band wrapped around our feet. Sitting, you could also do this standing. Sitting or standing tall with good posture, shoulders back and down. If I choose to do this one seated, I'm going to make sure my toes are pointed just a little bit. If your toes are flexed, that band could snap back in your face. So especially for this one, I'm going to make sure my toes are pointed. Arms are out to the side, keeping that band, my wrists, my arms all in line. So nice straight line from my elbow to my feet. And then I'm going to release back down. I'm going to widen my feet just a little further apart. That'll make it just a little bit harder. I'm going to exhale as I bring my arms up and back. Inhale, I release that forward. So I mentioned you could do this when I'm standing. I'll give you a quick view of that. I would just be leaning forward instead, but those arms would come out to the side still. I'm going to do that when I'm seated though. Today, squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back. A really quick way of making that easier, harder. If I need it a little bit easier, I could bring those feet a little bit closer together. I feel like I could use that a little harder today, so I'll bring those feet a little further apart. And I think I can do about 4 more here. Squeeze those shoulder blades together in the back. This is really working the upper back muscles, really helping to have us have good posture. And last one. Great. Okay, and let's release that. Let's bring our feet together in front. I'm going to keep that band underneath my feet. You can stay in seated, or I'm going to come up to standing position. And let's do a upright row. So roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Chest is lifted. We can have those hands together in front. We're going to bring those hands just to the base of the chest and back down. So this is working our medial deltoids and a little bit of our upper traps. If I added a shoulder shrug to that, that would really work those upper traps. Wrists are staying straight, and we'll remember to breathe at the same time. So we'll exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. So I was talking to kind of an older adult friend the other day, and she was telling someone that I do these live classes, and this person, I guess, has seen me in person before as well. And she said, no, the person on Facebook Live can't be the same person that she's gone to that live class at. And she said the person on live is just too serious. And I was saying, you know what, this is sometimes a challenge. When I'm in person, I'll joke around with someone, or there'll be people in the group. We'll kind of, have some quick conversations or joke around a little bit. I'm just looking at myself on the screen, so it's hard to joke around when I'm just staring at myself in the camera here and don't have anybody to interact with. So that's it. But if you've seen me in person as well, it's a little bit different class in person than it is live. But okay, let's try 2 more. And last one. Okay, that's great. That's for our medial deltoids and our shoulders just a little bit. Give that a shake. This is probably a good time to have a drink of water, so grab yourself a sip. I kind of figured for my classes here that I do them from home. My comic release is my dogs when they're running across the screen, or licking their private parts while I'm in the middle of class. I don't need to be funny when I have them in my class. Okay, let's move on to biceps and triceps. Actually, before I do that, let's give that upper body a little bit of a break. Let's do a little bit of lower body first. Okay, so we're going to have our chair in front of us for support in case we need it. Sometimes I hear people say maybe squats bother their knees, lunges bother their knees. We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to try like a split squat just to see if that maybe feels a bit more comfortable for you. So instead, my feet are going to be not as far back as it would normally be for a lunge, a little bit closer. So my feet are just a little further apart. It's going to kind of still look like a squat. So if I do a squat, it looks like this. Hips are going back, but it's going to look like almost like a one-legged squat because one leg is going to be forward. I'm still going to think about hinging back with the hips. My front knee might go forward just a little bit. I just want to, and that's okay if that knee comes forward. I just want to avoid just bending at the knees, not hinging back at the hips. My knee can come forward a little bit, but my hips are also going to hinge back at the same time. And my back knee is going to be slight bent, hinging forward as well. So like I said, this is going to look like a one-legged squat. There's my regular squat. Here's that split side lunge there. Great. I could be using that chair for support. Maybe I feel like that's a little bit too much for me today. So, maybe today you're only starting with 2 or 3 of these, and you'll work up to 10 till 12. And 2 more. And last one. And let's switch sides. Other leg. Give that a little shake. I don't need my chair, so I'm just going to switch to the other side. So other leg forward, other leg back, just a little step back. Again, hips are going to go back. My front knee might come forward a little bit. And we just want to avoid having that knee come way far forward and bending at the knee and not hinging back with the hips. Always remembering to breathe at the same time here. And 2 more. And last one. Okay, hopefully that was somewhat like 10 to 12 on each side. Hopefully I was somewhat even by that. Now that we gave that upper body a little bit of a break, let's do another upper body exercise. Let's do our triceps. So this is a nice one with the band. We do our tricep kickback with weights, but this is kind of a modification of a kickback with our band. So I'm going to have my chair, and I'm just going to have my hand on the back of the chair. I can have kind of a parallel stance. I could have a split stance. But my hand is going to start on my hips, and I'm just going to simply bring that hand back and then have that hand come back to the hip. Straight back and then back to the hip. So I kind of like this one as an alternative for that tricep kickback with the weights, because if I had weights, I'd have to be leaning forward to make sure that I'm working against gravity by lifting up that arm. In this case, I can be standing straight up. I don't have to worry about leaning forward to work gravity with my weight. But I am still going to isolate. You'll notice I'm not moving my shoulder very much. I'm just simply bending and extending the elbow here. And then I'm isolating that tricep. That tricep or the back of the arm is working any time that we're extending our arm against resistance. And 2 more for me, and 1 more. I find my shoulders are a little fatigued today. I had a harder workout yesterday where kind of had a crazy day, taught 3 classes, went to 1 class. Don't do that. Don't do that normally. Do as I say, not as I do. So my shoulders are a little sore today, so I'm going to take it a little easier. So now my other hand on the chair, other hand up. Again, split stance, parallel stance, whatever feels comfortable. And again, arm comes straight back and to the hip. Always thinking about exhaling as you bring that arm back. Inhale as you bring that hand forward. Nice straight wrists. And in cardio section, I had said if you want to work harder, go a little faster. But for muscle strength, actually slower and more controlled is going to go harder. Faster is going to be easier. So we'll do this nice, slow, and controlled. And 3 is all I've got left on that shoulder. 2, and last one. Okay, and release that. Give that a little shake. Okay, we'll come back to that chair again. The next one I'll do for biceps is what we call a concentrated bicep curl. I do this one very rare, if ever, on video, just because it's not my favorite. I love the ones where I can sit or stand tall and with good posture do my biceps. I will sometimes find that people in my classes will really swing the arm. So this concentrated bicep curl I might do if I find people are really swinging at the shoulder. So I'm going to sit nice and tall, shoulders back and down, hinge forward at the hips. I'm going to rest one elbow on my knee. The other hand is going to hang on to that band. And I'm going to bring the hand towards the chest and back down. I'm going to grab a little bit more band there. It's just a little bit too loose. So I'm not looking forward at you because then I'd be hyperextending my neck. So you'll notice I'm looking just slightly in front. So I keep my head, neck, and spine all in line. And 2 more. And last one. Okay, and we'll switch sides. As much as possible, we're hinging at the hips. We're not rounding the spine. And 2 more. And last one. Great. Oh, and Rose is going to make an appearance today. This is Rosie the cat. Okay, so we can take that band and we can put that down for now. Let's do a couple more, what I like to call double dippers, where we do a little bit of balance and leg strength at the same time. And let's have a quick drink of water before we start on some of those. Don't feel like you have to wait for me to have a drink. Have a drink at any time whatsoever. Okay, so standing behind our chair, we always have 3 options to be able to challenge our balance, at least 3 options. So if my balance isn't feeling very good today, I might have my hands on the chair. I could have just fingertips or hands hovering. Let's get into a hip extension, and I'll give you some options for eye positions as well. So maybe today I'm feeling like my balance is pretty good, but I want that chair for support, so I might just have my fingertips. I might look straight ahead. That will be the easiest. If I look at something across the room, it'll help me with my balance, make me feel a little bit more stable. If I want a little bit of a challenge on my balance, I could look around the room at the same time. I could keep those fingertips on the chair just to make sure I'm safe. Now, as another option here to continue to increase the intensity, I could choose to close one eye. So one eye closed, I've taken away one of my ways that help me with my balance by closing one I can only see. And then if I want, I could close both eyes. Now, right away, you'll see I get a little bit more unsteady on my feet with both eyes closed. So I might, again, bring my hands back to the fingertips on my chair just to make sure I'm safe as I'm challenging my balance. But boy, both eyes closed definitely increases the intensity. And 2 more. And last one. Okay, give that a little shake. Let's try a little bit of an advanced balance one. So this one here, again, I'm going to have my chair nearby for support. So you're going to balance on one leg. We're going to have that chair just in case. We're going to lean back, having that leg come forward, and then have that leg come back, leaning forward. So leg forward, lean back, leg back, lean forward. So it's kind of like my whole body, my leg, my hip, my upper body is all moving as one. Starting on one side, we'll do one side and then we'll do the other. Whew. I can start to feel that supporting leg start to fatigue. It's really working hard to keep my balance. And last time. Great. Okay, give that a little shake. Okay, let's do that with the other side. So again, leg is going to come forward, upper body is going to come back. I've got that chair for support just in case I need it. Now, if that is feeling good and you're feeling like you could just have a little bit more intensity, ooh, a little unsteady there, so I'm challenging my balance. Option, if you'd like, is as the leg comes forward, we bring those arms up. Know that you have that chair there in case you need to grab it or step down. And as I come back, my hands are going to come down. Just breathe nice and easy through this. Always making sure that we're not holding our breath. Once again, that stabilizing leg is really working. I can feel my ankle, my knee, my hip, all my muscles around my 3 joints in my leg, all working to stabilize and balance. And last time. Great. Give that a little shake. Okay. Let's do one more balance exercise and then we'll kind of get into a little bit more dedicated core. Let's stand on one foot. See how our balance is with that. Again, you have that chair for support there. Now, if you feel comfortable doing so, can we do a little hop to the other foot? Maybe that hop is too much for today. Maybe we just simply are going to step down and lift up that other leg. Maybe today we can add that little hop to switch sides. Again, that chair is there for support just in case. Let's try that again. A little hop. Have that chair there for support. Great. And hop. We're working our way up to do hopscotch here. Okay, great job. I actually have tiled floor here. It would be the perfect hopscotch kind of format here. I don't know if you do too. Okay, can we do one more? Okay, let's give that a little bit of a break. I'm going to try my hopscotch here. Give that a shake. So it's kind of, my tiles are spread out. I'm not sure if you can see from there, but I'm going to try hopping on one tile, hopping on the other, hopping on one, hop on the other. No, that's not technically hopscotch, is it? Great. Okay, and then I'm going to back up. Want to give that a try with me? This time let's do actual hopscotch. So it's 1 foot, 2 feet, 1 foot. Kind of the typical hopscotch. Have your chair nearby for support. So 1 foot, both feet, 1 foot, both feet, 1 foot, both feet, 1 foot, and then usually we're at the end by then. Okay, that was some great hopscotching there. Give that a shake, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Okay, let's get into our core work here. So let's sit on our chair. And let's do a little bit of functional abs. So today, let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Chest is lifted. And all we're going to do is lean back slightly. So just by leaning back with nice neutral spine with good posture, you might find right away your core engages. Your belly button, you feel your belly button pull to the spine. You can right away feel your core turn on or engage. So we have a couple options. We could choose just to lift and lower the arms. And really the arms and legs are just a distraction for that core that's working here. We could just do the legs. Or we could do a combo of that, of arms and legs. So this is our dead bug, or as one of my groups says, the almost dead bug. So I didn't name this, but when you do this on the floor, we call it the dead bug because your arms and legs are up in the air and you kind of look like a dead bug as you do that. But my group likes to say this is the almost dead bug because if your arms and legs are still flailing, then you're technically not a dead bug, you're an almost dead bug. I don't name these exercises, my friends. So, okay, let's do a couple more. As in, the idea of this is in everyday life, maybe while I'm washing my dishes or as I'm making my bed, that sometimes having that core engaged just helps us to do some of our activities of daily living. So this is the idea of this, is I would just want you to concentrate on engaging our core. Don't worry about what your arms and legs are doing so much. Maintain that core engagement. And two more. I might have said that already. And last one. Okay, and let's sit up. Whew. So you might feel that in your rectus abdominis. You might feel that a little bit in your lower back. So our whole entire core there was working just a little bit. Let's do a little bit for the obliques, and then let's wrap up. So let's bring one arm or elbow to hip, squeeze, and release, squeeze, and release. So I'm trying to lift that hip up, bringing my armpit and my hip together. Two more, and last one. And other side, elbow to hip, or armpit to hip. And I'm choosing to do this and seated right now but you can also do this in standing. And 3, 2, and last one. Okay, let's stretch it all out here now. So let's start with our hamstring stretch. So why don't you take your right leg out for starters here, extend that heel, bring the toe towards the shin. Now you can use your band. The risk with using your band is it can snap back. If you've got something like a belt or a tea towel or something like that, then this is just a really nice stretch to be able to hold on and pull the leg back. I'm just being very conscious with my band that my hands are low, so that if my band does snap back, it's gonna maybe snap back towards my thigh or my stomach, but not snap me in the face. But you can always do this without as well. And then you can always lean forward, again, maintaining nice neutral spine. At the same time, getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. And with me pulling that band, bringing my toes to the shin, I'm going to work my calf muscle a lot more with that. And release. Let's switch sides, other one. And again, extend the foot out in front. Press that heel away, bring the toe towards the shin. I'm going to hinge forward. Keep my hands nice and low there. Nice stretch all through the back of the leg. Now we're holding our stretches for 20 to 30 seconds, making sure we're taking some nice deep breaths as we're doing that as well. Okay, let's do a little bit of hip flexor and quad stretch. So let's twist to one direction or turn to one direction. Let's take one leg back. We're going to hold on to the back of the chair just to make sure we don't fall. And then we're going to lean back slightly, maybe a little bit of a pelvic tilt there, getting a stretch through the front of the hip and down into the quadricep. And I have lots of groups that love bringing their arm up. So if that's your thing, if you'd like, you can take a nice deep breath in, bring that arm up, and I'm going to bring it back at the same time, really stretching through the front side of the body there. Feeling it right from my knee, up my quadricep, my hip, and then through the front of the body here as well. I like to take between 3 to 5 breaths, and that's kind of a good amount of time to hold that stretch for. And switch sides. Other leg back. And again, maybe holding onto the side of the chair or the back of your chair here. If you'd like, add that arm up, maybe lean back slightly, a little bit of a pelvic tilt. Oh, the hip flexors are one of the tightest muscles in the body. Such a good muscle group to stretch. Okay, and we'll release that. Okay, a little bit of a hip stretch. So if you'd like, cross one foot at the ankle, maybe give that a little press to the side, to the base of the knee or just above the knee. And then you can lean forward slightly if you'd like, pressing on that knee. And I'm not injuring my knee joint there. I'm trying to open up my hip. So it doesn't matter if I'm touching above or below my knee or actually on my knee. I should feel that stretch in that hip, sitting up nice and tall. And switch sides. Again, I can cross at the ankle, just below the knee, or I have pretty good hip mobility. I'm going to cross above the knee and press down and lean forward just a little bit. But always remembering to listen to your body, only going as far as it feels comfortable. And release. Okay, sitting up nice and tall, let's stretch out the shoulders so we can stay seated, or we can come to a standing position, giving that gentle pull across the shoulder, grabbing on whatever you'd like, below the elbow, above the elbow. If it feels comfortable to hold the elbow, that is okay. I'm not locking my joint. I find I like just above my elbow is where I like to, and then give that a little pull across. And then take that same arm up and back. We can press on the elbow. We can bring that arm up and over. Again, if you like to use your tubing or band, or maybe you have a belt or tea towel, you could always use that as well, where you hang on to the band on one side and then work towards bringing those hands together. And let's do the other side. So other arm across the front, give that elbow a gentle pull, stretching out through the back of the shoulder. Take that arm up and back. Again, just gentle pressure on the elbow there, or grabbing onto that band behind. Walk those fingertips together. And release. Couple big shoulder rolls, up, back, and down. Let's stretch out through the chest. We can just bring those hands together and bring those hands back. If you wanted to, once again, you could hang on to that band or tubing and bring the arms back that way. Let's give a little stretch through the upper neck. You can drop your ear to one side. Give that band just a little bit of a pull behind. Nice stretch through the upper neck. And switch sides. Again, ear to shoulder. Nice stretch through that upper neck. This will be one of our last few stretches. Okay, and let's release that. Let's end with a few nice deep breaths. So take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. Let's do that 2 more times. Maybe add a little bit of bend to the knees as we take that deep breath in and exhale 1 more time. Great. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed your Forever Emotion class with me today. And I hope to see you again one of these days real soon. Thanks for coming. Talk to you soon.